Welcome back. Now, the mismanagement of funds in municipalities is in the spotlight once again. As you'd remember, Auditor General Tsakani Maluleke said the financial state of South Africa's municipalities has continued to disappoint over the last year, with little sign of things turning around. Maluleke was presenting the local government audit outcomes for the 2020-2021 financial year. To discuss this further, we're joined by Bheki Stofile from the South African Local Government Association. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on eNCA. Now, as SALGA, you have your 257 members that, I believe you're supposed to actually make sure are held accountable for the things that are happening in their particular municipalities. So tell me if you are actually speaking to them in terms of how dismally they're performing.
Thank you very much, and greetings to your listeners. Yes, we have been interacting with the member municipalities, and then we have seen the report that have been released by the AG. And what we dissect out of that report from us as local government practitioners is that the AG is saying we are just coming from local government elections in November, and you are about to take a journey, and you decided to use a vehicle, that this vehicle that you are about to use, its engine is not functional. It has piston problems, it has petrol pump problems, and therefore it cannot take you to your destination in which you wish to arrive. And that is why then we chose as NSA, rather than lamenting on what it has been raised, and to sit back and say, what then? I think Marxist scholars always taught us that philosophers has interpreted the world, but what is left is how to change what is interpreted by the philosophers. And that is why, as National Executive Committee of SALGA, we then resolved looking into this report and say, going forward, it is important to up the game and use our MASP system that we have been using as a test over the years and effect it over municipalities, and also municipalities that have members of the NSA that serves in SALGA must play a particular role, which is an active role. So the change, it must start from us as NSA members, because wherever we are coming from municipality and become leaders of SALGA. And therefore, this time around, as we said, we had to change the narrative on local government. And this change, it must start from us, because we are in the National Executive Committee coming from municipalities. So our take on AG is we see this, what she is saying, and we cannot deny it. Ours is to say, how do we change it? And that is why we are saying the message must start from us in the National Executive Committee going through to municipalities. As you know, that SALGA over years has a good audit report, and therefore that good audit report, it must impact to municipalities. That is the posture and position that we took as National Executive Committee of SALGA.
Mr. Stofile, I think I'm going to give you another chance to answer my question, because you say a lot of things like we need to change the way we've been doing things. We need to sit back and see what it is that we've been doing wrong. Have you not been seeing what it is that has been going wrong in your 257 members, for years now? I mean, it's not like there are municipalities who've gotten any better. Some of them have actually gotten worse. So I'm just going to give you another chance to answer that question about accountability that you are making sure of as SALGA, because it doesn't look to us that there is any that you make sure of.
Look, yes, we have been around the sector for some time as an association, and the report that we are receiving is the 2021-22 financial or audit cycle, and the leadership that has taken responsibility now, it says we must then use the responsibilities that we have and communicate and interact with municipalities on matters that affects them. And we are also saying, one thing that we always miss in the discussion is that local government is not just like a business that is operating elsewhere. It's highly politicized. And that is why, as SALGA, over a period of time, we have been saying national, provincial government had to play their role so as the political parties that are contesting elections that made councillors to be councillors today I mean, like, for instance, you can take an example of Nelson Mandela's inability to employ a senior manager. That problem, we are only going to see it in 2022-23 audit cycle. We are not going to see it now. And it's because of the political differences that exist in that municipality. And that poor mayor and council can't do any other way except managing the relations between the parties that are playing a role into the political space of local government. And that is why we are saying we are going to do our part as SALGA, as we said. We are going to use MASP. We are going to take accountability. All of us who are members of the National Executive Committee of SALGA will lead by example from municipalities where we come from and judge us in 2022-2023 the audit cycle.
We definitely will, Mr. Stofile. In 2023, when I speak to you, I hope you do actually meet your promises. But give me practical examples of what you mean when you say the NEC of SALGA will, play its part, because it sounds like you're saying you haven't been playing your part this entire time.
No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying SALGA over the years, under the leadership that have gone, has established a MASP system, which is financial management and support system, that you support municipalities on weaknesses that they have been encountering. And we've been doing that in various municipalities. And probably that is why you may see the change as recorded by the Auditor General. Now we are then saying the committee that is led by the Chair of Finance must spread that and use that throughout 257 municipalities. But also as SALGA, because we are coming from municipalities, as councillors and NEC members, we must, in municipalities where we come from, account about our acts and how do we then turn things around in municipalities. So that starting from us into municipalities where we come from and spread throughout the country, that is what we are saying.
All right. I just need you to give me more practical examples of what you mean when you say the NEC is going to play a better role in ensuring that local government performs better. What exactly will you be doing? Will you be on the ground with your different members, mayors, etc., to make sure that they actually do the work they're supposed to? And what are you doing with some of the shortfalls that you have discussed as SALGA before, saying that there's some municipalities where you've noticed that there's a skills development shortage, etc., and municipalities such as Nelson Mandela Bay where critical positions are not being filled? Just tell me more practically what you'll do as the NEC with regards to those issues.
The first thing is that we are going to engage the political parties that are participating in the local government to play their part. The critical skill that we're talking about and making an example in Nelson Mandela is because of differences of political parties that impact in municipal system. And it's a contribution and role that it must be played by provincial and national government in supporting the municipalities in terms of Section 154, which SALGA has been saying that. And to me, it's good these things coming out, because it's an issue that SALGA have been saying years and years, that it is important that those that take a responsibility to campaign and contest elections and elect councillors into council must take responsibility in terms of how they best support those councillors so that they run clean government. For instance, let me make you one example. What we read on the report that the AG is saying to us is saying, guys, how do you spend almost 10 billion rand on finance system in the municipality? But on that 10 billion rand, you still spend 1.8 or 1.6 billion on consultants. Does it make sense in the business? And that is why we are then saying, as National Executive Committee, because National Executive Committee of SALGA is made out of 31 individuals coming from municipalities. You have got mayors and speakers and various councillors that are serving the National Executive Committee. The first thing that we have then said, we must look into a municipality where an individual member comes from, what is its performance as reflected by the Auditor General, how to help to change the conditions and work with the management and the entire council in changing that condition. That is an active participation, rather than saying, our role as association, remember, in terms of the law, is to advocate, represent the interest of the sector. But we are then saying, with the current developments and challenges that are faced is not enough just to lobby, advocate, but is to be directly involved. Part of that lobbying is to lobby political parties to take an active interest and make sure that issues at the political level, they agree and resolved, and therefore it get a council run smoothly. That's what we are saying. For instance, Lesego, things that are faced by local government practitioners, and we can't say we are happy because it's a painful thing. In Mangaung, for instance, the national government intervened and subjected the municipality in Section 139(5) and appointed the administrator. The administrator that was appointed by national few days ago was locked in the office to sign millions of rand to pay ghost workers.
And
Also, if he refused that, he's going to be killed. We are going to talk about a statistical number now, and once again, an official has been killed. This is a matter that speaks directly on cooperative governance. It speaks direct on issues of how political environment is created conducive for individuals to perform their duties.
And also there are some municipalities, for instance, Mr. Stofile, who've been under administration for years. But also talking about political infightings, etc., how much power does SALGA actually have when it comes to accountability? Because it sounds to me as though your hands are tied in some areas to be able to actually execute your duty to make sure that municipal or local government actually works. So how much power, if you could just help me and the viewers understand, how much power does SALGA have, or are your hands tied?
SALGA, in terms of the Constitution, is to advocate, represent. And there is no element of accountability. And accountability is directly to departments. And what we are then saying, having understood the conditions in these municipalities are facing, are conditions of politics, are conditions of law, and many other things that are unearthed or unsaid in the public. And everybody blame councillors and municipalities. But what is the political role of individuals given a responsibility to campaign and canvass to win elections? What they are doing, and for instance, Lesego, if we don't deal with issues that life-threatening the life of local government practitioners, the reality of the matter is the dysfunctionality of governance and cooperation that was envisaged in terms of the Constitution, which directly challenged the Constitution. So that it is important for us as SALGA to also protect the interest and their life of those individuals that happen to be officials and employees of municipalities, whom at times they are asked to do wrong things by community members. So our power of lobbying is as far as engaging various departments, various parliamentary committees, and various institutions and lobby for a change. And this is what we are doing. And we are saying there is a need to change. Part of that change is to have a functional cooperative governance. For developments to change.
How's your relationship with COCTA, either from a national or even provincial level? How is your relationship with COCTA?
I think the best question should be, do we understand what is the cooperative governance? Because most often we distort cooperative governance as a function of COCTA. COCTA is a facilitator of cooperative governance. And that is why if you read the law, both the Constitution of the Republic and the municipal laws, when they spoke about cooperative governance, spoke about local government working with other spheres of government. And other spheres of government is various executive authorities that are operating in those areas. And this is the weakness in terms of understanding the role. Yes, we do interact with COCTA. There are many other matters that happen to coordinated by COCTA.
But they have an important role in terms of making sure that, one message is going across all spheres of government. They do have that important role. That's why I'm asking you that question.
Yeah. Yes, no, that is why I'm saying COCTA is the theory behind cooperative governance. Do we understand it? COCTA might want to push A or B or C. I'm not their spokesperson, I don't know. But we do interact with them, but we see limitations. For instance, if you take an example of intervention in a municipality sending an administrator is left to COPTA to run that, whereas it's an executive authority responsibility.
Just very quickly, before I put words in your mouth, are you saying the lines there are a bit blurred in terms of what they're really supposed to do?
The issue is, do we understand what is the cooperative governance, or is just living at the theoretical level? We don't understand it practically. SALGA as an association, we believe that as clearly defined in terms of the Constitution, cooperative governance is that the executive authority, which is the executive council in a form of a province, take full responsibility. In the process of intervening in a municipality collaboratively, areas of economic development must be concerned, areas of social service must be concerned, and collaboratively and cooperatively as a unit of state intervene and interact with the municipality. That is our understanding.
All right. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us here on All Angles, Mr. Bheki Stofile from the South African Local Government Association, reacting to the AG's report, basically saying that on a municipal level, South Africa is actually performing dismally. At some point in her report, actually, Tsakani Maluleke said that 5 years ago, when the fourth administration took office, it was in a better position, or municipalities were in a better position, and they've only gotten worse.